I think we're all familiar with the concept of the tryhard, the person who is going after some goal, some pursuit, some specific thing so aggressively that it almost makes it feel like they're destined for failure. They want it so badly that it makes it impossible for them to get there. I think we see this in gaming where the person is so focused on getting better at something that they can't focus on the actual game itself, and then they can't improve because the only thing on their mind is the goal that they're trying to reach, so they can't notice the skills that they need to develop in order to reach that goal. But I started thinking about it from a different perspective today. I started thinking about it in terms of game design because I've been playing jigsaw puzzles recently. I've been just doing jigsaw puzzles with my family. I took a break from playing grand JRPGs and playing all these computer games with top of the line graphics and so on and so on, and I just did a couple jigsaw puzzles with the family. And I had so much fun. And it made me think about some of the differences between these giant AAA projects, between these games that giant teams of people dedicate millions of dollars and tens of thousands of hours of their time into creating, and a simple jigsaw puzzle. And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about trying too hard in games, in life, and especially in game development and any other creative task because it tends to apply across the board. This is Game, Develop, Repeat, and I'm your host, Chris. Thank you for joining us. I think it's possible to be a tryhard about pretty much anything. I was going to suggest that you can't be a tryhard for a jigsaw puzzle because it's so relaxed, so chill, so simple, but you can. more than anything, I want to talk about the jigsaw puzzle in terms of the fact that the game design of a jigsaw puzzle is not trying very hard. It's it's it knows what it is. It's simple. It pays attention to a few simple things, and then there you go. Sometimes you get a bad one where the image is really confusing and hard to deal with, but then maybe that's part of the challenge and part of the fun. It's a very simple game, and I do consider it a game, right? It's a puzzle. It's something you have to solve. It requires some time and some effort and some focus, and it's got that little dopamine hit at the end. It's got that little bit of satisfaction when you put each puzzle piece in. You go, oh my God, I got it. Oh, I made progress. I had so much fun putting together some jigsaw puzzles with my family, partially because it's a nice social thing and it's a nice bonding thing, but partially because it's genuinely enjoyable. I did one on my own the other day, and it's sort of a quiet focus with those little hits of joy and excitement as you make progress towards a goal and you see the goal slowly fill out. And when I start to think about it as a game, I just look at it and I go, my God, what a simple design, and yet it is so deeply satisfying, right? You don't have to do all of this incredible, crazy stuff. And then I started contrasting it with these giant video games that I play. I was contrasting it with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, a game that I am perpetually trying to finish but spending barely any time playing. And I was enjoying the jigsaw puzzle more than I was enjoying Rebirth. But why? The Final Fantasy Rebirth has all these mini games. It's got chocobo racing. It's got all these things that I want. It's got beautiful graphics, incredible music, characters, a story, all of these different factors. But it's just, it's so many things, and none of them are giving me that satisfaction, that simplicity. It just feels like it's trying so hard. I feel like there is a lot going on in a lot of modern games that can be almost distractingly how do I put this? Not disorienting. It's divided. It has something for everybody game that I think Video Game Donkey has kind of made fun of in one of his videos. But it's the game that just is spread so thin. And we have all these different terms for this because it's such a common thing. But I feel like another element of it is when a game is desperately trying to convince you that it's fun. It's like somebody who wants to hang out so badly that you don't want to hang out with them. And then when you start hanging out, they're like they're so they're just there's no chill, there's no comfortable vibe, there's nothing about it that's just like nice and relaxed and chill. Even if you're doing something exciting, it doesn't need to be chill, but there's still something off about the whole thing. And I feel like that happens in games, and I really want to understand how it is that you make a game that feels that way or doesn't feel that way. How does that end up coming across? Because this has got to be an experience other people are having where you play a game and you're like, they're just trying too hard. They're doing too many things. It's getting all mixed up. It's unfocused. And what is that experience? What is it exactly? Let's try to pinpoint that for a second. It's something about a sort of a frantic, manic lack of focus. This jumping back and forth between all of these different things without ever finishing one. This lack of a through line, this lack of consistency, this feeling that, oh, you're interested in that? Okay, let's jump to that. Oh, you're interested in that? Okay, let's jump to that. Forget about the thing that we were just doing. Let's do this thing instead. Forget about that thing. Oh, we don't need to finish that part of the storyline. We don't need to flesh out that minigame. We don't need to do this. Just jump over here, jump over there. And you don't get to fully experience the moment. You don't get to just sit there with the game and enjoy a sunset. You know what I mean? You don't get to just go, this is nice. This is a good place to be. I'm here. I'm experiencing this. And it's joyful. What are some games that pull that off really well? You know, what really clicks into place for you? Just ask yourself that question. I'm not going to try to come up with a list here. But what is a game that for you just really isn't trying too hard and just feels like an excellent experience and just is what it is and doesn't try to be anything else? There's almost an authenticity to it. I think that might be it. There's an authenticity. There's a level where people are trying really hard to be something that they're not, where a game is trying really hard to be something that's not too, or a piece of art, or a movie, or a person. It's kind of frustrating to be around in the strangest way when someone is trying to be something that they're not. Because you're like, I just want to know what you are so that we can figure this out, you know? What are you like? What am I like? Do we get along? Boom, done. Can't we just have that in life and in games? Can't we just have this interaction of, oh, you're this way, I'm this way. Yes, no, done. Finished. Easy. Clean. But games, I feel like a lot of indie games will do that. I feel like some AAA games will do that. But I feel like some games, both indie and AAA, will be like, I have to appeal to everyone. Everyone must like me. And then everybody, sometimes they pull it off and everybody likes the game. But even Baldur's Gate 3 is not for some people, you know? Even when a game is so incredibly well made and universally acclaimed, some people are going to go, ooh, that's not for me. That's just not for me. It can be the best version of what it is, and somebody can still not like it. And I like that. Versus the, oh, well, it's got a little bit of something for every single person, and we're just going to make sure that everyone enjoys themselves no matter what. And then I end up going, yeah, I'm not enjoying myself. It's too much. Give me a jigsaw puzzle and I'll have a really good time. And I don't even like puzzles. For those of you who have seen me when I was Twitch streaming, you've seen me not do well with puzzles, probably. You've probably heard me mention something on the podcast, but not really being into puzzles. I struggle with them. They're frustrating. But a jigsaw puzzle is so simple and it has such basic rules. And I just look at it and I go, oh, it's just a matter of time. And also, I was doing very easy ones, which helped me a lot. But what about the development side of this? That's what I'm very curious about. Like, there's a feeling of trying hard when you're developing it. I wonder if the feeling of trying to force a game to become something, the feeling of going, this game has to be this and I'm going to make it be this, does that make a game where the player feels that, or is that a part of the process of developing a game? Are there times when you kind of have to force the game into being something so that you can clarify the vision, or does that always come across as like this kind of odd, jagged edge? I've got a bunch of other questions about this too, so let's think through it. Let's at least raise some questions. I don't know how many I'll be able to answer, but let's at least investigate this together a little bit. I'm a big believer in letting things be what they are or discovering what something wants to be. I mean, ideally. I guess philosophically, I'm a big believer in that. I'm not saying that I'm particularly good at it, but I would like to think that there is a direction that a game wants to move in when you start making it. And then you kind of figure out whether or not you're the right person to make that game, and you figure out whether or not you understand it, and then you develop the skills to make it, and all of these different things. And maybe there are multiple branching paths that it can take, but generally speaking, there's some kind of a thing it is trying to become. The idea wants to be something, and you are tracking that down and guiding it and figuring it out. And I think part of this concept of trying too hard within game development is forcing the game to be something that it's not. You know, if you were a sculptor carving something out of a block of marble, you are grabbing other blocks of marble and gluing them onto your block and then carving things onto those and so on, rather than just using the one big block of marble that you have. And people are going to be able to see those lines. There's going to be some instability. There's going to be issues. I think I'm not a marble carving guy, but there's probably some kind of grain to the stone. I don't know. But you get the idea, generally speaking, that there's something about forcing something to be something that it isn't that makes it worse. And I think even without a bunch of evidence and thinking through this and giving examples, I think this is just kind of something we know. I think we can take this and just run with it, right? When you force something to be something that it's not, it causes problems. That seems to be the case, right? I can't think of an instance where that's not the case, but maybe there is. I'm pretty sure that it's ideal to follow the path that something kind of is. And yes, there's some shaping and molding involved, but you're not changing something entirely. Maybe you find a different idea. Here's another angle here. Maybe you work on something and you don't want to make the idea that you run into. You find it and you go, I don't actually want to make this thing. And then you find a different idea that is connected, that is similar, that is related. Somehow that feels different, doesn't it? There's something about forcing an idea to be something versus discovering a new idea while you're working on the one. You know? You can like shove a game mechanic in there, kind of squeeze it in to fit, make everything kind of work, and okay, this fits together, sure, but it's really rough. There's all these weird edges. Everything's not quite making sense. The control scheme is wrong. Versus going, oh, wait, if I want to introduce this, then I need to redesign this, and do I want to, I suppose I could do this. Is that worth it? Is it? Oh, wait, we're talking about a different game, aren't we? Because this interacts with, like, this card game wants to add a collection mechanic, and that collection mechanic doesn't work well with the way that you get items in this game. So then the item system has to be looked at, and so on and so on and so on. And you can end up in this situation where you go, maybe I'm making a different game than I thought I was. But maybe I'm just talking about scope creep. And I'm having like a weird, um, overly intense view on respecting the idea that a game has like a thing it wants to be. Let's talk about a different angle on this. When you're just trying to make a game so huge, so impressive, so big, so cool that everybody likes it and everybody likes you and the game is a reflection of yourself and so on and so on. I feel like that's a big thing. I feel like there is a temptation to go, oh, my game is going to be this, 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 and this. And they're all very impressive things. It's going to be an open world game. It's going to have all of these cool features. It's got all these mini games. It's got everything that you could ever want. It's the game you want to play. You've always dreamed of it, so on. There's this huge swing that we take, this Hail Mary pass when it's the first time we've picked up a football, this absurd, over the top goal early on. I think that's a version of being a little bit of a tryhard. Not because you're doing the full tryhard thing, but because you're saying, this is what I have to start with. It's all or nothing. I make the Mona Lisa or I make nothing. And you never go through the whole stick figure phase and learning colors and whatever else. Because you're going, no. I'm going to do this. And all my effort is going towards this and screw anything else. Now, I want to note that that's kind of a cool thing, too. Like, I don't know how to put this, but like, as much as I'm rallying against the idea of being a tryhard, I'm also a big fan of having a crazy goal and pursuing it, having something that you really want to do and chasing after it, even when other people are like, oh, that's never going to happen. But there's a subtle, very difficult to communicate element of this that I think is extremely important to me personally, and it may or may not be important to anybody else out there. But if I am, how to put this into words? If I am working on something and I am focused on what I am doing, I'm focused on the work itself, and I'm loving making the thing, then being a tryhard is great. I think that's wonderful because you're working on the craft. But if you're being a tryhard for the goal, if you're chasing after the end result of the thing and you're working on the thing and you're thinking about how much success it's going to be and you're thinking about how it's going to look to other people at the end and whatever, and you're not focused on the craft, but you're focused on what the craft leads you to, then I think being a tryhard is not great. Does that make sense? Having one of these big, grand goals is cool. Focusing on the goal rather than on the craft and the joy of making things is not as cool. For me, I hope that I've communicated that effectively. I just think, maybe I'm going to get a little too broad here, but I just think we try so hard as creative people, as people in general, man. I think we try to get to some specific goal. I think we push and we force and we try to figure it out, and we go, oh, I'm only going to be happy if my life goes this way. I'm only going to enjoy this project if this is the result that I get out of it. I'm only going to be satisfied if I get this. And then you get it and you're not satisfied. And it's so important to me to resist that in myself and to encourage other people to look at what they're doing and just say, why am I, why not just enjoy doing this thing? why not enjoy what you're doing? Why not be proud of what you're doing? Be excited about what you're doing and do your best and love doing your best. And then you'll make something really beautiful. And maybe it doesn't make $1 million, but it connects with everybody who it's meant to connect with. And I think that some games that I've been playing lately do not do that. And I think that's why I haven't been having that much fun gaming lately. They're not connecting in that way, man. I need to find a game that connects in that way. The next game I play needs to be something where I'm like, there it is. They just loved making this, and they had a vision, and it's wonderful. And they all had all these skills too. It's not just about love and vision. It is about craft too. You got to know what you're doing. And boy, as far as game development and game design go, I'm not there yet with craft. Not even close. I just haven't had enough hands-on experience. It's hard to make the time, with a day job and all of this stuff. And it's hard. It's very tricky, but I think it's really worthwhile. So I'm going to keep striving to do it. And I'm going to keep getting after it. And I hope that you keep striving towards whatever your goals are. Goals, passions, towards what your goals are. Is that even what I mean? I hope that you keep engaging with the things that you love engaging with. And that's people, that's art, that's creating things, whatever it may be for you. I've got a different type of question today. This is one where I want you to prove me wrong, because I think I'm probably wrong. Has there been something in your life where you have been a total try-hard about it? You've been like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get there. You're just focused on the goal. And did it work out? How have you had something like that pan out for you? Because I did that with music, and I did the music degree. We got there, but it didn't actually pan out. I ended up not loving all the things that I was doing with it, and I learned a lot from it, and I got a lot out of it, but it panned out in a really weird way. And I'm curious how people's experiences with just trying single-minded focus on some goal. Did you get what you wanted? I want to hear from somebody who did that and got what they wanted, and I want to know if they focused on the goal exclusively or if they enjoyed the process while they were locking in on it. And I want you to ask yourself, does this mindset work for me? Does this try hard mindset work for me? Does focusing on the process work for me? Figure yourself out. I don't know. I'm not that guy. I just have a lot of thoughts about game design and development and gaming and all that stuff. I don't have that many answers. I hope to one day. That would be really nice, because then I'd be able to help people out with it, which would be really great. And then I'd be good at it, presumably, hopefully. That's everything that I have for you this week. Get out there, make some stuff, and have fun with it. Until then, I'll see you.